Hello students. So in this video we will be doing the Sqoop Lab, which is part of big data analytics, and we'll see how to do it. So what we'll do now is first we'll it's better that you visit this link bit. So let me type again. It's bit.ly/tcoe student. Okay, so this will lead you to a drive link which has a BDA lab. So it has the exact instructions that you need to follow. So since we are doing Sqoop, now there is a Sqoop lab over here also, but this lab consists of a lot of installation instructions, so you don't need to know all that. What you need to know is how to understand is the concept of Sqoop, right? So you can go to Sqoop, and so this is part of your big data analytics course in the engineering colleges. So I thought if this machine I have could be useful. With a ready-made, you don't have to install anything, everything is there. Hadoop is there, MySQL is there, Sqoop is there, and Ubuntu, it's installed over Ubuntu. To understand the concepts, so let's understand what are we doing in this lab actually, or what is Sqoop used for. So Sqoop is one of the tool that is used with Hadoop, right? So in Hadoop we have HDFS, right, which is your file system. So all your files, all your big data files in petabytes are stored in HDFS, which is distributed across any number of machines that you want. So it handles big data, right, over here. So that is what Hadoop does. Now Sqoop basically acts as a tool to import or export data. So what does it import or export? So you can say it imports or exports data from SQL databases. So in SQL databases we have for example MySQL, and then we have SQL Server. These are all really SQL databases which are relational database model system, RDBMS. When we say RDBMS, we have to think about tables, rows, columns, primary key, foreign key, etc. So in this lab we are going to use MySQL, we are going to use Sqoop with MySQL. So we are going to first we'll attempt an import as well as export. So we'll take some data from Sqoop and send it into HDFS, and so that is one. And in the same way we are going to take the data from HDFS through Sqoop, we will import it back into SQL. So Sqoop is basically used to transfer the data between SQL database and Hadoop. So it makes life easier, right? Because we are dealing with SQL databases for a very long time, and suddenly we want to manage big data. So in order to manage big data we shift to Hadoop. But what do we do with the SQL data if we want to manage it via Hadoop, or we want to process through Hadoop? We want to process the big data through Hadoop. So that's where the Sqoop tool comes in picture. So this lab is all about Sqoop features or Sqoop functionality. So now that we have understood, so let me keep the diagram as it is. So first thing is you need a machine, right? So where is the machine? So now on my machines, it's available via links. It's the link is ATS Labs, so you can see github.com, ATS Labs. So if you click on this, or if you browse this link github.com, /ATESLabs, you should have all the machines over there, including Sqoop. So let's go there. So here you see the machine images. So here, where is Sqoop? Sqoop is the third one over here. So if you take this link, it is pointing, it gives you a drive link where all the files, that is used to create a machine is there. So basically it's a single machine, but it has been split using 7-zip tool. So you need to download all this as it is and have it in a particular folder. And once you have it in the particular folder, it might look something like this, right? Now you need to take all these files and convert it into single OVA file, which you are going to import in VirtualBox. So the way to do it is you can take this folder, for example, wherever you have downloaded all these files. So in this folder, nothing else should be there except these files. Okay, when you want to convert this into a single file or when you want to combine it, so you can say, let's say 7-zip. So we open the tool 7-zip and let's go to that folder. So we have this file, right? We can see all this. We can right click on this and click combine. So when you click combine files, it will convert into the single, so you in a single OVA file. So here at this stage, I'll show you one simple test, how it happens, so that you can see. So I'll just create a temporary folder test for now. And in this folder, I want to combine all these files into single. So I right click and I click combine, right? So let me show you again. So I went here, right click, combine files. So when I click combine files, I say Sqoop and test. That's a folder I have created. So in that folder, my single OVA file should appear, and start stitching everything into one file. So that's how you create that file. So let me pause this over here. I don't want to create it, and I just want to. So you can create it, and you should have single. So if you see in this file right now, this file of 505 MB is been created, but this is not fully created. So this will not work. So your actual file, when you combine it, it will be of the size of 8 GB. You see this over here? 8 GB. So it's an 8 GB file. So you can take this and open in the VirtualBox. So let's go to VirtualBox. And we'll say file import appliance. So I'll show you the option file import appliance. So you're getting a machine inside. So let's go to G:, where is the lab? Okay, lab, and I have Sqoop over here. So I take the Sqoop and I open it, and so this is a Ubuntu based machine, and it will create it in this particular folder, and this will take time. So let me wait for some time. Okay, so while it installs, it's still what happened? It must be some space problem. So what I'll do is, so the problem is most likely because of your hard disk space. So you need to save it to a folder or create it in a folder where there is enough space. So let me try again. Okay, so let me try importing again, but this time let me save it on my G drive where there is enough space, and then it will be fine. So G Sqoop, and next. So this I will change it to G:, because I have got enough space on G:, so let me go there and I say finish. So while this is getting installed, I just want to go through the instructions in the lab, just to review. So we'll go to the lab and see what are the instructions over there which we have to follow. So this is a Sqoop lab. We have Hadoop, MySQL, Sqoop and Ubuntu installed. And so here you see, we start MySQL and the password is TCOE with a T and O capital 423 hash. So remember that when you need to, and so this will create a database, a temporary database that we need to, and then we insert some rows, right? So this is what is going to happen on the MySQL side. So here we are creating a table called TestDB and we are inserting some rows. That is what we are attempting. Now once we have created 3 rows in the TestDB, that is what we want to kind of import it into HDFS. So before we import it, we want to clear the directory, whatever where the output is going to go. So we want to use user TCO, student employee. So we are going to remove that directory before we import, and then we import using the import command the way it's given. So this entire thing is one command, okay, from here to here. So here you see it's connecting to MySQL on one end, and it is also telling on the other end where is the destination. It is in HDFS employees folder. So the source is MySQL TestDB to employees. So that is what the import process will do, and then after that we verify whether the data is actually in the in the HDFS using Hadoop fs-ls command. So ls is like your Linux command which is running inside your Hadoop environment, and inside the Hadoop environment we can look at this folder. So when we look at the folder, you will see some files created, where the rows are stored, because this is a file system, right? This is not a database. All your rows are stored inside the files. So, and then we do the reverse process. We export the data from SQL. So before we export, so once we do this, what we are doing is we are sending it over here to this folder, right? So employees. So once the rows are sent over here, then we try to delete whatever rows over here, and whatever rows are here in HDFS we try to send it back, and that way the rows will appear again, and that is a proof of your export functionality. That is what we are doing here. We are deleting the rows from, we are connecting to MySQL database, and then we are deleting from employees, and then we are running the export command. So export command, what is the, again we are saying the export, we are exporting to TestDB, and from where we are exporting this, from the employees folder. This is the export directory. So these are the only commands in Sqoop, and so now we will go ahead and perform the lab if the machine is ready. So I hope you have understood what we are doing, because once you have understood what we are doing, then it's much easier. So where are we? So is oops. So your 51% has been created, is still importing. So once you import, you should see your SQL machine here, and you can simply start using it. Everything is installed, ready for you, for all the engineers. So this lab has been created specially for the engineers, so that they can actually test the concept and perform some, lab. You don't have to waste your time in, creating the lab. And anyways, it's very difficult to, create these labs, because a lot of error shows up when we try to install all the softwares, and so it requires a different set of skills. So our main focus in this lab is to understand the concept of Sqoop. So we go ahead with a ready machine. So we'll wait for things to finish. Okay, so our machine is finally imported. So you can see Sqoop over here. Okay. So we start the machine. So you'll get this switch button, so just click the switch, and so basically it scales the screen as per your display size. So let it start up. So as I told you, we have already installed MySQL, Sqoop and Hadoop. Okay, so the machine is started. So what we do is, as usual, we go to the terminal window, and let's expand this so that we have a bigger screen. And the first thing that you should do is an ls to see if everything is there. So you see already some folders, Hadoop 3.4.0 is installed, you see Sqoop is installed, right? And even MySQL is installed in one of the folders, and in one of the files we're using is MySQL connector. So MySQL connector is definitely used by Sqoop to connect to MySQL, right? So let's start with the lab. So let's see what is the first command. So your first command is to connect to MySQL, right? So what we will do is, maybe we will, instead of having the file outside and having to browse all the time, we'll load the file inside the terminal window so we can copy the instructions quickly. Okay, so here do we have a browser? So we visit the same website, bit.ly/tcov student. Okay, maybe the internet problem is there. Okay, seems like the internet is down for some reason. So anyway, so let us just type the command. So the first command is to log into MySQL, right? So let's try logging in without. Let's go back to screen, and because the internet is off, for the time being we can't use it. So the command is sudo the internet is back. Can I get it back? Okay, the internet is back, so this saves some time. So here you have your BDA folder. Go into that BDA folder as usual. Then you have your lab. And then then you have to open the BDA lab journal. So don't open the other Sqoop file because it has a lot of unnecessary installation instructions which you don't need. So we'll open BDA lab journal and we'll start from where we left off. So it's a little slow, not little, it's very slow. So now that it has, let's go to the Sqoop Lab. Oh my, I don't need edit access. Okay. So here we copy, right click, sudo mysql -u root -p. So if you have to type the command, it's something like this, right? -u root -p and enter. And then it will ask a capital T, small c, capital O, small e, 423 hash. And you, oops, capital T, C, O, E is 432 hash. What is the password? The password is 423 hash. Okay, so let me try again. T C O E 423 hash. Oops, 3 incorrect. Let me clear the screen. And up arrow key will repeat the command. I hope it is a root. It's root, right? Yeah. Root is a username. Let me try again. Is a caps lock on? No. T C O E 423 hash. Why this is not working? Okay, so we are back, and so the problem is we need to first give the password for the machine because we have typed sudo, right? So the password for the machine is TCOE 2024 hash, and then the command executes. Now second time when it says enter password, we have to give the MySQL password. So first time you have to give the machine password. It says password for TCOE student, which is TCOE 2024 hash, and then we say enter password. That is actually this is asking for command password for this. So first time it's asking for password for sudo, which is for machine, and second time it is asking password for MySQL. So the MySQL, as I said, it is capital T C capital O small e 423 hash. And we are in MySQL, right? Okay, so now that we are in MySQL, we want to ensure this table is there, so maybe the table is already there, and we can verify by saying show databases. So you see TestDB is already there. So in case, either you use the same database or you can create your own database. So if you want to create your own database, just give it a different name. So in my case, I will give it, let's say, create database testdb2. So let me go back. I have it open. I have the same file open over here, right? So first we want to create the database, create some rows. So let us go ahead and do that. So create testdb2. So we copy from here and we go back and right click and paste. So instead of saying testdb2, else testdb, I'll say testdb2. Okay, so now instead of I need to open the database, so I use the command testdb2. So now I'm inside the database. If I say show tables, it will have nothing, right? It is an empty set. So I go ahead and create the tables. So creating the table again, we need the entire command. So I don't know whether this will paste properly, but yeah. So it created the table employees, and now if you say show tables, you see this over here, and if you describe the table employees, you need a semicolon. So we have a table ready, and then once we have created a table, we insert some rows, right? We again go back over here, we insert 3 rows in one go, right? We copy in these 3 rows and we paste it over here. So the command is executed and 3 rows are been selected. So if you do select star from employees table, you should see 3 rows in MySQL database. So now our next focus is to delete, now make sure Hadoop everything is empty. So we'll go back to a diagram. So what we have done so far is we have created the database over here. We have created testdb. Now we want to remove this folder if it already exists, so that when the transfer happens, it will automatically create it. So let's go ahead and do that. So in order to do that, we need to we don't need to be inside the MySQL, right? So what we do, we go back over here. So if you wish, you can start a new window. So now here, let me tell you that we need to start Hadoop before we start using HDFS. In order to do that, first there's different ways of starting Hadoop, but we will try starting Hadoop using maybe start-all, and let's see if it works. Otherwise we'll use something else, right? So we'll use start-all command, and if it doesn't start, then we'll use some other technique, start-all.sh. Okay, so it's starting. So this will start HDFS and as well as your your yarn, your MapReduce, everything. Ideally it should start. So hopefully this will start everything, and then you can fire commands inside HDFS. So let it start. The name nodes is part of HDFS. It's a master node, and data node is again part of HDFS. It's a slave node where the data is stored. So the name node will have all your master data. It is like a directory of all the it's a directory of information, you can say, of all the data that is spread across the machines. Secondary name node is your backup machine in case something happens to the name node, the secondary name node comes up. Okay, the resource manager, node manager is part of yarn, so that's starting up. So let it start. Okay, so now if you type the command jps, you can verify if everything is working. See, so everything is working, your Hadoop has started and your database has been created. So what have we done so far? So we let's go back to the diagram. So we have started, this system is started, and we have started this system. So now we are ready for a Sqoop. So we are going to take this, we have created the rows also over here, remember? So we are going to start the Sqoop and make sure the rows can be imported. So we'll go back and we'll see the Sqoop command. So Sqoop import, right? That's the command. We transfer the data from MySQL to Hadoop using Sqoop. So this is entire one command, so we have to make sure it is all on one line. So right click and copy and we paste it over here. So it's not on one line. So we go here and we click backspace and it tries to come on one line. It's still not on one line. So here you see we are connecting to SQL database, then we are also providing the password for the database, and we are saying which table to refer to, and we are also mentioning what is a target directory. So in HDFS we want to transfer to user TCOE student employees folder. I don't think we deleted the folder, right? We didn't delete the folder in HDFS, so let us skip this command for now. And first we'll delete the folder in the employee folder inside HDFS. So let's go back with the previous command. We started Hadoop, but we didn't actually delete that. We didn't run this command. So this will actually delete the folder from employees. It says no search file. Okay, now this is happening because I am not in the Hadoop folder. If you want to run this command, ideally you have to go to the Hadoop folder. So you could have done it in another way, but let me not do that right now. You can go to cd Hadoop folder like this, cd space Hadoop, and from there you can fire your command bin something and this. So from there your bin HDFS command will run and it throws an error. So I don't know what is error. So let's see, unable to load. What is it says? RMDIR. Okay, this command is wrong. It says why. We'll have a look at it. Okay, so I think what we need to do is use a RMR command. So let me try using RM dash or command. No, this also has a problem. It doesn't. rm is an unknown command. Something is not working. I don't know what exactly. Hold on. Unknown command. Why it says unknown command? Anyways. Okay, so the error was there's a small mistake in this command. I think we need to have a single dash, not double dash. And if the folder already has some data, it will not delete. So let me try again. Minus rm minus r. This should ideally delete all the files. Minus dash rm. So now it has not only deleted all the files in that folder, but it has also deleted the folder. So the right command is dash rm. So I had double dash and that was a problem. So now we have deleted the folder. Now we can go ahead with import. So let me clear the screen. So as I said, you need to make sure everything is properly formatted on one line. So here we connect. So even the password, it has to be properly formatted on one line, and then this. So this should ideally import all the data. So let's try. So this has started and the Sqoop is running. So in order to transfer, it has fired the query of select star from employees. It will try to connect to MySQL, and it is trying to start the map reduce job to import. So it has converted the entire import process into map reduce job. So let the job run. So map is 0%, reduce is 0%. So let's see how it moves. So map task is over. The job is completed. So 48 bytes was transferred. So how do we verify? We actually now go back into Hadoop and verify whether our data was copied, right? So what we do is we again go back to the command, and this time first we will check the folder, what files are there in that folder. First we have deleted the folder, remember. So if the folder is created, then it was created by this particular Sqoop process. So we are saying, so you see the folder was created and already there is one file over here. So now if you open this file using the cat command, so the command is fs -cat, right? So the same command is also there in the file, so you could have copied this entire command, right? So same thing I have typed, and we click enter. So now we are checking whether the records in HDFS have been transferred, and you see there are 3 records in the file: 1 John, 2 Jane, and 3 Mike. So the records was successfully created, and hence the Sqoop import process worked. And now what we are going to do? Now we are going to do the reverse. We will keep the records in Hadoop HDFS as it is, right? So what we are doing is, now this thing I marked it cross, but now I first deleted, and during the Sqoop process what happened, the folder was created over here again, right? This was created in Hadoop. Now I will make sure the data in this table is deleted, and then I will do the transfer over here, and let's see how it works. So our next command is, first go inside your so MySQL is already open, right? So you know already how to open MySQL. It is already open. Now remember that so where is it? So let's assume you have exited out of this MySQL for some reason, and this screen is clear. Now if you repeat this top command, which is sudo mysql -u root -ps, now this time, okay, it is asking me for machine password. Sometimes it will not, and that time you can straight away give the MySQL password. But since it has not asked you for MySQL password, it is asking you for the machine password. So machine password is tcoe 2024 hash, and your so I'm in MySQL, so I need to delete all the rows from employees. So that is what the command is. So delete from employees, right? Okay, so I need to open the database. So use my database name is, remember, testdb2 semicolon. So once I do that, I delete from employees, and 3 rows are deleted. Okay, just let me put back that command. So we said use testdb in this case. In our example, remember, we have used testdb2. Okay, so let's go ahead, and so we have deleted the rows, and now we can exit. So there is no rows actually. Where is the machine? Okay, here is a machine. So now actually when we are doing select staff from employees, you are not seeing any rows. So now we will go back to our other window where the Sqoop processes are running. So let's clear the screen first. So our screen is clear and we run the export process. So export process is the same, almost same like import process. Except that you use the word export and you use the directory export dir. So as usual, we get everything on one line. Okay, so now that we have everything in one line, we see that we are exporting the data from user TCO student employees, which is this, back into my SQL test DB. So this time the database, okay, should be test DB2. And we enter. So we'll again create a job, map reduce job, and it will try to export. So there you see the job has been starting, it has created a new job, map reduce job. So ultimately all these tools are in, when they get into Hadoop, they have to use map reduce and HDFS to do their work. So let's wait. So here you see map is 0% and reduce is 0%. So it has finished. So the way we can confirm this is by going back to SQL. So remember we deleted the record, there were no records, and now if we do select staff from employees, we see 3 records over here. So the export process worked successfully. Now ideally the lab is over here, but if you want to stop Hadoop at this stage you can do it, but the lab is over. But if you really want to stop the process, here if you want to exit, then you can type exit MySQL, and here if you want to stop Hadoop you can say stop -all.sh, just like you mentioned start -all.sh. To stop we say stop.all.sh. So this will stop and the lab is over. So that's how we have we did the Sqoop lab where in the Sqoop lab we use Sqoop to do data transfer from SQL database to Hadoop, and then we exported the data back again from Hadoop to MySQL. So that's it for now. Thank you very much.